Hello, everyone. I'm Maddox Brown with New England MMA News, and I'm here with Jack Congdon. How you doing, Jack?
Doing good yourself?
Amazing. Thank you for coming on. We're gonna get right into your upcoming fight. You're fighting Kyron Bowen at Cage Titan 67 on September 14th. Can you break down the matchup and how you see the fight playing out for you?
Yeah, man. He's a well-rounded guy. He's comfortable on the ground, on the feet. Doesn't really seem to prefer one or the other in his fights. Very experienced guy, 9-9. Um, so there's no holes or anything in his game in terms of that. Um, but when I do watch his film, I see tendencies in his striking and tendencies in his ground game that I believe that I'll be able to take advantage of. And that's what I'll do in 2 weeks' time now on September 14th. So, yeah, however it plays out, standing or grappling, I believe I've got the edge everywhere. And we're going to be hunting for that finish and going to get back in that win column.
What do you think will be your keys to victory in this fight?
Uh, same thing as always with me. I bring the tenacity. So the guys feel my pressure, start putting them on the back foot, start being able to open up, change level striking, just changing things up, staying fluid wherever it goes. But yeah, it's really an energy thing, making sure I control the energy, lead the dance, um, and be comfortable wherever it goes, which I will be.
What do you think this little step up in competition for you does for your career moving forward?
I mean, it's huge, right? So last fight was a big step up with Piersma. Good fight. Obviously lost that fight. But my goal is to be in the UFC and to reach the top of that organization. So in order to do that, I need to fight guys that have been to the higher levels, right? And Kyron's a guy that's been there. He fought on the Contender Series. He fought in the PFL. Um, so all of his losses are two legit guys. So in order for me to build myself up to those levels that I want to get to, and where I see myself belonging, I've got to beat guys that have been there. So very very big step in that journey.
Um, how do you think the Piersma fight's gonna like help you prepare for this one?
Yeah, they're very different stylistically. They don't really have anything in common in terms of their approaches to fights. I think the biggest takeaway for me with the Piersma fight is honestly more mentally and spiritually in terms of fighting, right? All my fights up until that point had been really quick, right? I hadn't gone 5 minutes with anybody. I'd finished everybody before that time, and there's always moments of adversity in every fight, right? But by and large, I was able to dominate and get quick finishes. And so that was the first fight that I had that didn't really play out that way, where it went kind of back and forth. And at least for the first two rounds, anyways. But it did feel good uh, to to have that adversity, to push through it. Uh, it's one thing to have the belief in yourself and to know internally that you can do it. It's another thing to actually go in there and have had the war, and to have never quit in the fight, try to keep fighting, and then ultimately, it's not the goal, right? But ultimately, went out on my shield. So nothing about my spirit or mental state was broken from that fight. Um, quick little stay in Valhalla, going out of my shield, and you're going to see this fight now. I'm coming back much meaner and better than ever before after that fight and facing that adversity.
I mean, it's not like that loss has aged terribly. I mean, this guy just fought and rode to the UFC the other day, but I
Right.
mean, what do you anticipate will be the biggest challenge Chiron will present to you in this fight?
He's a vet, right? He's a gamer, so he's got some tricky stuff in terms of his jujitsu. Um, you know, he's comfortable playing off of his back, so um, yeah, he's experienced, got some tricks. Um, so I need to be prepared for those. Like I said, he's a vet, so he's been there. He's been in fights before. Um, but whatever happens, I'll be fluid. I'll be ready for it. Find a way to come out
Um,
on.
oh, who are going to be some of your key training partners in this camp?
Uh, yeah. So as always, train with Miguel Sevison all the time. Um, uh, I've been training a lot with Connor Holt, AJ King over at Dan Savory's too this camp. As always, I'm at BTT Taunton 2, always training at Lausanne MMA, Lakeville MMA, and KO Gym. But we've been getting some real good MMA rounds uh, on Wednesdays at Dan Savory's. Yeah,
How are you feeling mentally and physically so far as the fight approaches?
great man. I'm very excited. In better shape than ever. Um, yeah, been taking my strength condition to a whole new level with Chad Faria and Bristol County Barbell Club. So I feel great physically. You know, getting the weight cut down a little bit better every single time. So I'm going to be in the best shape that I've been in, and I'm very excited to get back in there and to right the ship.
Can you tell us how the matchup with Kyron came up?
Uh, yeah, I mean, so Polver kind of gave us a couple of names, and they were kind of like rebound fights, right? Coming off the loss. And I was looking at it, I was like, I, I don't, at this point in my career, kind of piggybacking on what I said earlier to you, like if I'm trying to get to the UFC and get to the top of that league, I need to fight legit guys, right? So yeah, wound up, seeing if you could find anybody else. He gave us the name. We took a look at it. Said, yeah, we like the matchup. We like where the test it presents, and the ladder, the rung of the ladder that we're sort of climbing as we take this challenge. So as a team, we liked it, and we said, yeah, let's do it.
What should the fans at the Plymouth Memorial Hall expect from Jack Congdon on September 14th?
Same as always. I'm going to bring the energy. I'm going to be hunting the finish. Um, you can expect the best version of me. Like I said, honestly, it sucks to lose. I would have rather not, obviously. Um, but that fight did, I would say, further my confidence in myself and my abilities. Um, and I'm just pumped to go back in there, uh, hunt another finish wherever it is. I'm looking to end the fight in emphatic fashion, um, right the ship, and build my way back up to the top.
Do you expect Kyron to do a little bit of wrestling more than striking with you?
You never know. You can never really expect too much of anything. I've had fights before where I didn't expect guys to wrestle and they wound up wrestling when they felt me in there. Um, it's not really something that he's done much in his history, but you never know. Every fight plays out in and of itself. So if it happens, I'm ready for it. Um, and as always, just taking the fight wherever it goes.
Do you have one final message to Kyron Bowen before you guys get locked in the cage together?
Nah, I'm never one to have something to say to my opponent. It's all respect. So yeah, just ready for a good fight.
For my last couple questions, we're gonna talk about how you got into the sport of MMA. Uh, how did you get into the sport of MMA? Like, what intrigued you to start?
Yeah, so I started in Taekwondo and doing some no-gi grappling when I was 8. Like I was that kid that was like off the walls, I guess. Like my parents couldn't leave me alone for like 5 minutes, or I'd be running off somewhere, I'd be up a tree, I'd be causing trouble somewhere. So they need to find me something to like channel my energy and kind of discipline me a little bit. And so I started out at Lakeville MMA when I was 8, and fell in love with it right away. Loved competing, and always competed in grappling tournaments as a kid. And then watching the UFC as a kid, I grew up loving guys like Chuck Liddell, Rampage Jackson, that era. I was like, man, I can do that. I can see myself doing that sometime. So, um, yeah, when the time came right, when I graduated from school, took a fight, and we've been on the path ever since.
How did you find Lakeville? Is there a story behind that, or did you just walk in there and start training?
Uh, I mean, I was so little. Um, I think it was probably just word of mouth. Like my parents heard about it. You know what I mean? Like they signed me up. Um, so yeah, just been there since I was a little kid.
What has been the most memorable moment of your career so far?
Most memorable. Um, I'd have to say probably the last loss. Uh, it was a big opportunity. Um, and it's been something that I've had to sit with, right? So you think about your losses a lot more than you do your wins, right? Like, it's kind of cliche, but like, yeah, you don't have to analyze yourself as much after the win. I'm always self-critical and always looking to see where I can improve, even after the wins. Um, but it doesn't hang with you in the same way that a loss does. Obviously, very competitive, so I've analyzed that fight many times, and as I've said before, you're going to see the improvements that I've made from it.
Do you have any final shout outs to sponsors, supporters, and teammates before I let you go?
Yeah, man. So, yeah, we shouted out some of the teammates before. Shout out the team. So my sponsors, first, Why Not a Pair? They're a charity that helps fund special needs kids' education. You might have seen me talking about them on social media before. So that's very cool. If you're interested in donating to that, I've got some links in my social media. If you kind of scroll down my Facebook. Um, Dogtown over in Lakeville. It's a doggy daycare. So that's pretty cool. They got a bunch of dogs, some outdoor area for them to play. They do overnights as well. They do vacation stays. So if you need a place for your dog to stay while you're at work or you're on vacation in Lakeville, that's a great place. Waterman Roofing. Um, Dan Cliff, they're huge in Lakeville Middleborough. You've seen their signs all over the place. Dan Clifford law offices. If you or somebody you know has been hurt in like a work incident, he does workman's comp cases, things like that. Um, yeah, let me. I gotta want to make sure I'm not forgetting here. Give me a second to think. Um, I'm hoping I'm not forgetting anybody. If I am, I'll put their links in this video as well afterwards. So, oh, uh, Jen Oliveira, she's got a salon shop. Um, yeah, I'm gonna have all these on my banner. We'll have business cards at Lakeville MMA. I'm gonna post links and stuff like that. So I'll do a little better job with this part as well. So yeah,
All right, bro. Thank you for coming on. It was a pleasure to have you. Good luck in your fight.
yeah. Thank you for having me. Good talking, and I'll see you the night of the fight.
See ya.